Hello, today we will discuss about group functions. What is group functions and which are the group functions that we will discuss today? What is group functions? Group functions are the function which returns one result per group. So what is group that we need to decide? If you are not using the group by clause, then by default it consider table as a one group. Which are the group functions? For example, count, minimum, maximum, average, and sum are the group functions that you can use in a SQL. So let's jump into the SQL and learn the different group functions. Let me start with the count. For example, if you are writing count star from table name, for example, from employees, then it will return the total number of records available into the table. If you are writing the count and if you are specifying the column name in each group function, you can provide the column name. So suppose if you are providing the column name, for example, count job, then it will display all the job, but it will not consider any null value into this. By default, each and every group functions is ignoring the null. So by default, group function not consider the null value. So if you have any null value in your table, then it will not count the same. For example, I have a job column and I have no any null value, then it will simply return the 14. That is, now there are 14 job available into the table. But if you are using count of commission, if you are writing count of commission, then it will write 4. Why? Because only 4 people are there who are earning the commission. In short, it's simply ignoring the null value. Even you can write like this also, that is count of distinct job. So it means it will do what? It will see there are 14 jobs available for each employee. There are job are there, but unique job how many are there? That if you want like this, then you can write count distinct of job. So if you write count distinct of job, then it will return that there are 5 unique job available into the employees table. And if you're writing count commission, then by default it will simply ignoring the null value, right? So there are 4 ways to count the value from the table. But what happens, students? Please see carefully. If you are not using any group by, then by default whole table is treated as a group. So let me give you the example over here. I'm simply writing here select star from person. Now this is the table having the person ID, person name, person city, gender, income, and the highest degree of the person. Now I want to count how many person are there. So you can simply write select count star from person. Then it will give the list that there are 15 person are there. But now my task is not completed yet. I want to count the each and every person for each gender. So I'm simply writing here gender comma count star. So for each gender, I want the output, that is for how many male and how many female are there. So if you write from person over here, now if you are not including this column, that is the column which not contains the any aggregate function. If you are not writing in a group by clause, then you will get an error, that is single group function. See here, not a single group function. So how to resolve this particular error? Very simple. Whenever you have any column which does not use the any aggregate function, use that particular column that is available in a select list, use the same column in a group by. So how to resolve this? Simple. Select gender comma count star from person group by gender. So whenever you write group by gender, it will return you that there are 8 males are there and there are 7 females available over here. But sometimes we think that, sir, I don't want the gender wise data, I want the city wise data. So can I write the city count star? Yes, but whenever you write city count star, you have to use that particular column in a group by, that is the group by city. So now you will get the count. There are 7 people from Rajkot, there are 3 people from S Nagar, there are 4% from the Ahmedabad and 1% from the Porbandar. Now suppose if you think that, sir, I want the highest degree wise data, then instead of city you can write here highest degree. And if you are writing highest degree, that column you can include over here in a group by highest degree. So what happened? It will return the degree wise count. For example, see here, there are 5 people who did the post graduation, there are 3 people who did the PhD, and there are 7 people who did the graduation. Now suppose if you think that, sir, I want the data of each person for each highest degree and for each gender, I want the data. So simple, you can just simply write over here, that is highest degree comma gender comma count star from person group by highest degree and gender. So what happened? There are 3 highest degrees available, that is the graduation, post graduation and PhD, and there are 2 gender are there, one is male and another one is female. So it produced the simply, that is 3 degree into 2 gender. So I will get the 6 record over here. Postgraduate male are 2, postgraduate female are 3, graduate male are 4, PhD male are 2, PhD female are 1, and graduate female are 3. So you can get the report like this. Sometimes people says that, sir, I want that the gender wise and city wise data. So you can write city comma gender comma count star from person group by, here you can simply add city comma gender. So for each city, if the data of that particular gender is available, then it will display. For example, Porbandar is the city in which I just added the 1 record of male but not added the 1 record of female. So I am getting only Porbandar male 1. I am not getting here Porbandar female 1. Why? Because there are no female record available in this table for Porbandar and with the gender female. So I'm simply getting the data of each city and for each gender, and if you count this, then the total will be, that is 15. 4 plus 3 7 8 9 10 12 and 15. So you can get the data using this. Now suppose whenever you get the data, and if you think that, sir, I want to filter the record, it means I want only those data whose count is greater than or equal to 3. It means for each city and gender, I want the data if and only if the counter is greater than or equal to 3. So whenever you want to filter the data from the group, at that time you can use the having. So for example, I want the data that is what? I want that the count of this data is greater than or equal to 3. Then you can write having count star greater than or equal to 3. And what happens? See, this is my group result, and I just filter the group result using the having. What is the difference between having and where? Where is used to filter the record from the table, while having is used to filter the record from the group. So what happened? This is my group, and once I get the group, I just filter the group using the having clause, and I just written here having count star greater than or equal to 3, and I am getting the data over here. So this is what the group by and having is. Now let me give you some more examples of some more function. For example, if you think that, sir, I want the count all the records, I want minimum salary, I want maximum salary, I want average salary, I want sum of salary, right? Sum means it is total salary. And from employees table, if you are not using group by clause, it will return only 1 record. Why? Because we already discussed over here, it returns one result per group. And if you are not writing any group by, then by default it considered one table as a group. So if you're writing from employees, it will produce only one record over here. And here, one record having the data, count star 14, minimum salary is 800, maximum is 5,000. This is the average salary. And this is the sum of total salary. Now you people think that, sir, I want this particular data, but for each department. So you can write here department number. As we discussed earlier, the column which is used into the select statement and which is not using the aggregate function, you have to use into group by close. So you can write here group by department number. And what happened? For each department, you will get the data over here. And here it will produce the data that the 30 department having the total 6 employee, minimum is 950, maximum is 2050. So very simple it is. Now, sometimes people says that I don't want the department number over here. I want the department name. And whenever you want the department name, you need to join your table employees with the department, right? So how we can join? Very simple. You can, instead of writing the department number, now you can write here department name. And whenever you write department name, here in a from, you can write from employees E, departments D, where E dot department number is equal to D dot department number. And you can simply write here group by the column which is used into the select statement and not using the aggregate function. So you can write group by department name and you will get the result that the accounting department has 3 employee, research has 5 employee, sales has 6 employee. Now suppose if you think that, sir, I want to filter out, and the filter means what? Once you get the result of group, now I want to filter that the sum of salary, that is the total salary of the department. I want the only those department who has the total salary more than 8,700. So I want only accounting and research, but I don't want the sales. So it means very simple it is. Whenever you want to filter out the record from the group, you can use the having. So this is my query. I will just do what? I will add the one more clause over here, that is the having sum of salary, that is the total salary greater than 8,700. So what happened? This is my group and group having the 3 records, and from this group I am selecting the only 2 records whose salary is greater than, sum of salary is greater than 8,700. So this is what the having is. Now sometimes people says that, sir, I want that the highest salary of the particular department should be displayed first. It means research is the department having the sum of salary is highest, right? So I want to display that particular value first. So what we can do over here, simple, this is my query. Here you can also give the alias. So I'm just writing here alias, that is total salary, from employees E, departments D, where condition group by having, and now I will use order by total salary. Now what I want that this highest salary should display first. So you can write order by total salary descending, and whenever you write descending, this research department value that is having the total salary 10,875, this will display first. If you look carefully into this query, then I used the clause that is select, from, where, group by, having, order by, and with the join. So this is the way you can write group by and having. Now sometimes people says that, sir, I want to join another table over here. Can we join the third table over here? Yes, you can. For example, I have another table and that is the cell grade. And what I want to do, I want that for each department and for each grade, I want the count, minimum, maximum, average and total. So how we can do this? Simple. Whenever you want the data for each grade, here you can just write department name, comma grade, right? From employees, departments D, sal grade S, where E dot department number is equal to D dot department number, and salary between low salary and high salary. So what happened in this case? It will simply make the join of three tables. Now, which column we have to use in a group by? All the column in which we have not used the aggregate function. These are the aggregate functions. So the column which are not using the aggregate function, you can write into your group by. So we can write group by department name and grade. So whenever you write department name and grade, for each grade and for each department it will display the number of employee, minimum, maximum, and all this. And here you can simply filter out the department that is sum of salary greater than, for example, that is 8,700, and order by total salary. So what happens? See, I have only one record, that is the research, having the 4th grade salary, and there are 3 employees working in that. Minimum salary is 2,975, maximum is 3,000, average is 2,991, and the total salary is 8,975. So this is the very simple query in which what I did, I used aggregate function, group by, having order by, where all this close, and with the multiple table join. Not only this, what happens? See, by default group function not consider the null value. It means by default the group function ignore the null value. For example, if you write over here, that is select count of commission, then it will simply ignore the null value and it will return only 4 records. As a result, what happened? Whenever you write select average of commission, then it will simply return the average of 4 people only. Why? Because it is simply ignoring the null. So what happens? See, if you are writing the sum of commission, if you are writing the count star, and if you are writing the average of commission from employees, then your data will be little bit wrong. Why? Because see what happens, see there are 2200 is the total commission, but there are 14 employees. So I want the 2200 divided by 14, not the 2200 divided by 4. Right now what happened, it average gives the average of the only people who earns the commission, right? And that is the reason why it simply ignore the null by default. But if you want to consider the null value, then you can use the annual function over here, and you can simply replace the commission with the 0 if it is a null. And now I want the average. So what happens? See, 2200 divided by 14, so your average will become 157.14. In short, by default group function ignore the null value. If you want to consider the null value, then you can use the annual function over here. What happened? Average and sum are the function which uses only numeric data type. So average and sum function are used with the only numeric data type. Rest function you can use with the any data type. For example, sometimes people says that, sir, can we use the mean and max with the any data type? Yes, of course. Suppose if you want to use the mean, if you are writing the mean of birth date, and if you are writing the max of birth date from employees, so what happened in this case? Mean of birth date will return the earliest date, and max of birth date will return the latest date. You can use the same function, that is the mean and max, with the character data type also. If you are using the character data type, then the data will be sorted in a, that is the character base. For example, A to Z, then A will be minimum and Z will be maximum. So here Anil is the minimum employee name and Tirth is the maximum employee name. And as you all know, we can use the mean and max with the numeric data type. For example, if I'm writing minimum salary and maximum salary, then minimum salary is 800 and maximum salary is 5,000. So if you are using the date with the minimum, then it will return the earliest date, and date with the maximum, then it will return the latest date. So this is the way you can use the mean, max, count, average and sum function. But remember, average and sum function deals with only numeric data type. We cannot use the average and sum with the character and date data type. So that's it from my side. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.